Fine.
I can see. I'm good.
All right. Thank you for joining. So BlockBuyer is a residential real estate crowdfunding. And a key thing is it's for everyone. 99.9% of all websites or platforms out there are really for accredited investors. And so we designed something over the past 3 years that addresses 93% of the nation, which are non-accredited. And a little bit of background about why I created this is I was a rocket scientist, engineer. I worked at Boeing, I worked at Dow Chemical. I worked actually in Mesa, Arizona, Apache, and some other programs out there, and some actually city projects. And I started to build a company with investing on the side. I was doing fix and flips in Arizona, and I noticed that there was so much deceit and deception. It seemed like everywhere I looked, in every contract. And I was even in a contract with one of the former mayors of buying some of his development projects. And in the end, it looked like everywhere that I went, there was always some deception or some benefit to the developers or the orchestrator of the project, but not necessarily the investors. And so over the years, I launched a company that was called BidDay, and BIDDY. And it was a real estate auction site that allowed portfolios of properties to be sold to individual buyers. So some of my clients were Fannie Mae, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, auction.com. I consulted them even before they had a platform or website built to how to design it. And they were actually considering licensing our system, but they've already put $1 million into a project, and it wasn't working at the time. So back in early 2005, I invested in properties in Tempe and Chandler and Scottsdale as well. And I started doing fix and flips, and I realized that there's a better way to be able to do this. So I started to work on creating a system, and that evolved over time to BlockBuyer. And the core focus of BlockBuyer was how can we protect investors? There's 1,068 ways to get taken advantage of. And I say getting screwed. And so it's emotional getting screwed. And so that's why I kind of attributed to that, because once you've lost $50,000 or $100,000, you really know that feeling is actually, it sinks home. So after going through the valley of hope and then depression and then depression, you get to a point where you're saying, you have to move forward, you have to move on. So what can I do to really prevent this from happening to me and prevent that from happening to hundreds or thousands of other people as well? So I started to create a checklist, and I created a checklist of all the different ways to get taken advantage of, and it came in an Excel spreadsheet with groupings and everything to about 1,068 specific ways. So I started to go through that checklist as a mechanical engineer, design science. How can we design a system to protect investors while countering all those ways to get taken advantage of? And BlockBuyer was born. So I'll go through a presentation about what BlockBuyer is to get you kind of calibrated. Then we'll look at a really short videos, like 3-minute videos that will give you an overview. I'll touch base really quickly on a demo site to show you kind of what properties look like. And then finally, we'll go to real deals on the site, and I'll introduce you to one of our trusted partners, which we call operators. They're not flippers. There's lots of flippers, but flippers who have a special expertise end-to-end on a property, full-time rehab teams, and proven success. That's who we bring in as trusted expert partners. High level of what BlockBuyer is, it's a crowdfunding platform. It's for non-accredited investors as a focus. We allow accredited investors, but mainly it's focused on non-accredited investors because we solve a lot of the problems for them. Even at the basic level of residential investors wanting to invest with friends and family, and unfortunately they can't do that if you're is my internet fine? I just got a message. Is my streaming fine?
I see you. Yeah.
All right, great. So it's a do it for me platform. So it's a legal way to invest successfully and profit. It's a safe way to do it together. And it's designed to not be taken advantage of. And we try to design it very user friendly and easy. High level, you have, let me see if I can move this. I'm not sure if you have video.
We don't see it.
Don't see the video. So it's two sides of a site as a platform. So on one side, we have the crowd, and the crowd's on one side and the operators are on the other side. And the operators, they bring a project to the site and they have a rehab team that's available to be able to rehab the property. On the other side, we have the crowd who's able to invest $500 to $10,000 per project as a non-accredited. If you're accredited, it's unlimited amount of funds to invest. Now, there's a lot of words, but high level, it facilitates an end-to-end platform site. So platforms, what are platforms? You can think of platforms as like Uber and Lyft and Facebook and PayPal. They're marketplaces with two sides of the market. Uber, you have riders and then drivers, and then together the platform helps facilitate a user experience that's easy. And that's what we've done with BlockBuyer. And we call it BlockBuyer because it's like blocks. You can buy stocks. Like stocks, you can buy blocks. You can buy blocks of properties and they become an asset that you own. It's not like buying a loan where you get an interest and you don't have any stake in the property. We try to make ownership part of our solution. So with the end-to-end platform, we collect the funds from investors. We assign it to the project. Once the project reaches its minimum necessary for the project to be financially feasible, which includes the budgets and everything that's developed in the background by the operator, and that's posted transparently on the site for all investors to see. Once that minimum is reached, we actually batch the funds. So they're not taken from your bank account until we reach that minimum. Then one time we give you 24 hours to have your funds in your account. The batch occurs. Kind of like an e-check or electronic pay, bill pay. It removes the funds from your account. It goes to us, and we send it directly to escrow. At that point, the property is fully purchased, and we have some funds left over that are for the rehab. We hold those as far as BlockBuyer, and we give those in 3 different scheduled draws to the operator who need during the project. That's one of the safety we have. So the operators, they don't have money in hand to go to the Cayman Islands and enjoy a vacation. So it's really kind of organized and regulated. And then once the property is rehabbed, you'll see before and after pictures, before and after videos, status updates. You're constantly in the loop as an investor. You feel like you're really part of the project. You can also ask Q&A directly through the site and message, so it's kept organized, so you won't be confused between one project and another. You invested in 2 or 3, very organized, and you can communicate directly to the people working on your house. And finally, at the beginning, it goes through title and escrow formally, and then when it's sold, it also goes sold to a third party out of the site, a homeowner, and with title and escrow. So everything is done cleanly and smoothly. So a big thought is like, what is crowdfunding? So crowdfunding has a bunch of different flavors. Initially, what crowdfunding was, it's like a Kickstarter campaign where there's a product and you can invest in the product. And then at some time later, when the product is developed, you'll be one of the first to receive a product, like a widget. Anybody's able to do that. But the moment you get in investing in the company, a stock, or as an asset, you're not allowed to do it. Well, why is that? Well, with crowdfunding, with like a Kickstarter campaign, you're not actually investing in a security. You're investing in you're buying ownership into a future widget that's going to be provided to you, like a watch or something, or a skateboard, electronic skateboard with solar power or something. So with crowdfunding that's associated to equities or securities, you need to be accredited typically. So our platform designed non-accredited features comply with the SEC that allow you to be able to legally do it. So we're one of the only platforms in the US for non-accredited investors for residential real estate. So really high level, this is a chart that shows the VC, angel, and crowdfunding over time from 2009 on the very bottom left to 2016. So there's a trend here. The white is VCs, the orange is angel funding, and the blue is actually crowdfunding. And you can see that all of a sudden around 2015, crowdfunding dramatically started to take over. Well, why is this? A lot of people are a little bit baffled by this. And the answer is that angel investors started to realize that crowdfunding projects could be a very good way to invest. So they stopped investing in a lot of traditional startup projects and investing in crowdfunding campaigns into the companies themselves. And so the VCs actually tried to combat that. And VC funding took a second level of funding volume in, I think it was 2015. And so essentially crowdfunding exceeded VC funding, which is very interesting. So if you can't beat them, join them is kind of what their philosophy was. In 2010, it was just under it was $880 million market of how much was being crowdfunded. And then 2011, it went to 1.2. In 2012, it went to 2.7. In 2013, it went to 6.1 billion. 2014, 16 billion. 2015, it was 34 billion. And then it was 72 billion in 2016. So there's a trend here. And the trend, it looks like it's doubling within every year. And we did see the same thing in 2017 and 18 as well. So we expect to see that industry start to grow rapidly, especially with a lot of virtual offerings that are going to be taking place soon. So high level is this is a kind of a chart of like what the transaction value is in crowdfunding. So a key thing here is it starts at 2016 and it goes to 2022. On the next slide, it shows the two lines here, and that's where it essentially doubled. So it doubled from 2016 to 2022 is what it projected. So we're right into 2020, and the next chart I wasn't able to get statistics for, but the projections seem to be a rather steep incline from that point. So the summary here is crowdfunding is starting to really become more mainstream, becoming more well accepted, and it's integrating more into what's called the fintech industry, the financial technology. Some key distinctions with crowdfunding. So in general, there's accredited, unaccredited, two tiers. Accredited websites right now are using legal instruments that are 100 years old. They're the Reg D, Reg A, in some cases called Reg A plus. And these have been around for a long, long time. I think Reg A and Reg A plus, they've only been around for 5 or 6 years, really mainstream, but Reg Ds have been around for a long, long time, going even back to England. Usage. So some sites say, well, hey, let's actually add a brochure website. Let's add a Reg D offering. Let's allow only accredited investors, and let's say we're crowdfunding. Well, so companies were starting to do that all over to be part of the bandwagon. Then the SEC came in and told all these sites, you no longer can say you're crowdfunding, such as Realty Mogul, Fundrise, and a lot of other companies, because they weren't actually raising funds through the legal SEC statute of crowdfunding that has protections built in, that's compliance built in. And so they created, if you look at their site, they're accredited only. They're actually an aggregator of projects. So they can legally say, hey, we're allowing non-accredited to invest in some of our projects, but that's up to the developer. Typically in a Reg D offering, you can have unlimited accredited, and you can allow 35 non-accredited. So they can say with that sliver of law that they're allowing some non-accredited in the projects, but most of the time, these developers do not want non-accredited involved because it doubles the price that it costs in legal. It doubles the layman terms revisions that need to be for all the legal to make them so simple to read, and the legal cost, the accounting practices must be done. That's very costly for the developer. So there's a lot of cost built in. It could be as much as $75,000 to $150,000 additional just to allow non-accredited to be involved in an accredited project. So most developers say, hey, we're only going to restrict this to accredited investors because it doesn't make sense and there's more liability with it, and we're not building in all these protections. If they invest and they lose their money, then they're big boys. So that's what most companies are doing. On the other side of the coin, non-accredited. Well, there's two different ways to be non-accredited and in crowdfunding. There's federal and there's state. Two are federal is kind of onerous because it's $50,000 to be able to perform the legal and the qualification. In a house, a single residential property, and you want to do a federal exemption, you have to anticipate that $50,000 to $60,000 off the top is just going to be paid in legal expenses just to allow non-accredited to invest in your single family project. Doesn't make sense. So we use Interstate, and Interstate is a very cost-effective way. It's a portal. You have to be a resident state, and along with the property is in the state. And there's certain limits, $10,000 per project for the investor. If you're non-accredited. If you're accredited, it's unlimited. So high level, why is BlockBuyer valuable? Well, if you think about the needs of investors, there's a lot of things that they lack. It's at the very beginning, the legal right to invest with others. It could be a misdemeanor or a felony. Just went out and said, hey, friends and family and people at Starbucks, I have this fourplex. I'd like you to invest with me. Right there, you're actually selling a security and it's unlawful. If it's done right with a LLC structure and you've actually done business or know the people, you can actually promote that. But the promotion is actually a violation of securities. So actually you can be a violation as a misdemeanor just by promoting your document. Even if you have the right structure, LLC entity, it's not allowed just to have the LLC. It's not allowed just to have the Reg D offering or the offering. You actually have to actually design it in such a way so you can actually tell people about it. So it's almost like having an investment being put duct tape over your mouth. You can't tell anybody. You can't use Facebook or LinkedIn or social media. You can't even put a flyer up, and you can't call someone and tell them about it or in person. That's what it's like. So BlockBuyer said, well, let's incorporate all the legal structure for SEC compliance so that you actually, as an investor, can say, hey, mom and dad, friends and family, I have this great deal. Why don't you guys invest it with me in it? And I'll send you a link, and you can vote on property A, B, or C. So, and then if you like one of them, let's invest together. So we made it legally to do that. So a lot of people face the issues of not having enough capital to do it, enough cash, the knowledge, the rehab teams, the combination of vendors, overall time to do everything in the project. And you know what it comes down to is you need confidence, and that comes with experience. So by doing each project over time, you're going to learn something. Some operators, they don't make money the first year. They lose. They don't make money the second year. They maybe break even. On the third year, they start to achieve a profit. On the fourth year, they make money. Well, why is that? Well, it's a learning, it's calibration, knowing where to buy materials, knowing what materials not to buy, interestingly, know what parts of the project to actually put attention to and what not to put attention to, knowing how to buy a great deal. And one interesting note is that deals on the MLS are not deals necessarily. They've been passed for at least twice by some investors already.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Eddie, but
Uh,
2 seconds.
who did we,
I think, oh, are you back?
did we lose me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
That
back.
was very strange.
back. That was weird. Go ahead.
So, nope. Are you able to, let me share my screen
I'm
again.
gonna share your screen again. I think that's what happened. I am showing good computer internet
Okay.
here on my side. So there you go. Okay, good to go. Thank you.
Oh. Well, there's a lot of people using a lot of bandwidth now. So sometimes that actually could be one of the issues. So overall, there's a lot of challenges for investors, and investing is a team sport. People that try to do it alone sometimes realize they're overwhelmed during the project. It's very stressful, and it takes time to get really calibrated. Not only, even doing a project, you need to have tools, and you need to have extensive knowledge. Also, you need a pickup truck, and I would recommend using a beat-up pickup truck because it's going to get beat up over time. And then finally, once you have figured out how to do everything, most people lack to be able to put systems and processes to actually create efficiency. And in addition, compounded with the legal experience. So investing in this team sport, you need a lot of people, and that's what we've tried to bridge investors, actually delineate the process so that everything is streamlined for investors to be able to have a good investing experience. High level, the value proposition is it's a legal way to invest. We help coordinate the teams, the legal, and the money coordination for the operators that we have. And remember, operators are the professional expert flippers that we call trusted expert partners. They're called operators because they're operating the project. We try to make it e-turnkey for friends and family with little money, little time and effort needed. Again, here's a different words, but they come down to 3 buckets. It's investors are doing it for me. So a lot of things are already done for you, which doesn't increase the bandwidth or burden on your lives already, and risk. So you can review a deal. You can look at what the fixed returns are or the profit share or what the fund return is that you're investing in. You can see the profile of the operator, their experience. You can look at the budget, transparent budget of how your funds would be used for the project. And before pictures initially and documents for the project, maybe marketing documents or disclosures for that. So kind of a doc ball. Invest. The minimum reached. ACH is kind of like your e-check from your bank directly to, and then that money goes to escrow and title to purchase the product. And then guess what? Rehab begins. And you'll be receiving before and after pictures from the operator, updates, and once that occurs, money comes back to BlockBuyer. And guess what? We pay the investors first out of the core funds. And then what's left over goes to the operator. Now that is entirely the opposite of the way every contract I've seen in the industry works. Most of the time, the operators or the experts on a project get paid first. They have their management fees built in. They have their second-tier management fees built in. And then they have guaranteed profit built in before investors even get any profit. So we thought, let's turn that paradigm upside down and benefit the investors first. Well, why would any of the operators want to do that? Well, honest operators have done it time and time again. They're proven in the industry, they know what they're doing, and they don't take projects that typically aren't profitable. So they're upfront saying, hey, we always are honest. We're going to conform to this honest system doing things. And that's why BlockBuyer has been a success. So high level this is just kind of a preview of what you'll be seeing. One thing to note for this demo slide or the demo that we're going to show you, we purposely didn't put the right numbers in, and that goes into kind of our trainings because we don't want people caught in the analysis paralysis. We want them at a place of learning how to use the system and software and having fun, rather than saying, oh, this is, square footage is not right in this particular block of the neighborhood, or the zip code is not exactly the right zip code for this, or the square footage for the yard or is not in reference to the square footage of the house ratio. So we didn't want to get into analysis. So we actually put in non-correct numbers in the demo when we're doing our training. So you may see some values here that are not exact perfect. We did that on purpose. So high level, it's a deal summary where you're able to see the pictures of the property, the high level, what the contract terms are, and it's upfront before you invest. Once you want to see the property, you can view details, or you can click the green button to promote. Promote a vote is a way to just promote this to your friends and family. You can say, hey, let's get property A and property B, or A, B, and C. Which one, friends and family, do you like the best? And it's a simple vote, the commitment. Once the vote comes back, you might get 75% people like one property, 25% like the other. So you can say, well, more people like this one. Let's go in together on this one. This is just a high level of team. We have some advisors here that are in Google, that are in JDA software, which is actually in Scottsdale, and Property Radar. You've probably used them in the past, some investors. For operators, this slide is for the operators. We wanted to show that kind of a few benefits to them is that we're looking to have a partnership with the investor crowd, and we need to develop an entire suite solution for them. And what we did is we developed a kind of virtual office for their entire team to work, so they can use that to scale their business, to grow their rental portfolios. A lot of flippers were actually turning their money from one project to another, taking out a little bit of the profit and using it in the next project. But instead, at the end of their 10-year term of doing this, they end up having very little or no residual income from all the investors that invested. So we try to make an opportunity for operators to actually participate in rental portfolio. Raise funds fast, less out of pocket for the operators. Most of your actually out of the profits at the end of your project, which is a totally different paradigm shift. You're paying expensive money to investor companies that demand money upfront with points, with monthly payments. So we have a kind of an interest in the success of your project, say, by having a great platform that facilitates all the functionality necessary for operators to do a great job and investors to have insight on it. And we legal. Everything is legally able to be designed, so operators can now tape off their mouth and actually promote properties. They can actually put flyers up in a Starbucks telling about their project, and people walking by can see it, go to the site, and invest in it. The operator, we reduced a lot of the legal complexity and costs, so you don't have to create LLCs, hire attorneys, hire people for technology to manage the projects. We designed everything to really accommodate their current business and to streamline it as well, to avoid headaches and frustrations that they experience in the industry. So some of the headaches that investors should know is that when you invest in some projects, typically with these operators, and they have phone calls and meetings and demands. And in that case, they actually want to reduce the time because they're best positioned hunting deals, finding deals, closing deals, and bringing those to the table. That's what their expertise is. So they have a team to be able to facilitate that. So bandwidth is important, and we streamline that for them. So really high level, we're really transparent with everything in our business. And for operators, they have a fixed fee for $300 to post a property. They have a $500 raise success fee when the minimum raise is reached. And then after the rehab, after the property sells, we charge them $500 plus 1% of what was raised on the project. So if the project was a $400,000 project, but they only raised $200,000, we charge only 1% of the $200,000 for that. And this is after the project sells at the end. For the crowd, we charge 1% of what you invest. So if you invest $1,000, we charge you $1,010. Very simple. And that covers all your legal compliance, your use of the site, your bandwidth, and your ability to be able to invite friends and family and coordinate and actually promote your successes in your projects as well. And we'll go into that. So right now we'll do a quick 3-minute tour Our 3-minute video will show a site tour, and we'll see available deals. One moment while I change the page.
And I'll jump in and just, I've been trying to text with people in chat. Find your chat box. That's where you're going to enter any questions you may have. Go ahead, Eddie.
Okay. Let me move this box over here. There we go. All right. So this is an investor presentation for kind of investors so that they can actually see an overview of the website and how it works. Let me start it.
Welcome to BlockBuyer. BlockBuyer allows you to legally raise capital from non-accredited investors for your residential projects. Making a deal posting is easy. You can post single and batch uploads of your deals. To post a single deal, go to Post a Deal, Post Single, fill out your contract type and other details below. When you're finished entering your values, the bottom of the page will automatically calculate your deal analysis and display a summary of your crowd payments as well as the profit as an operator. Detailed metrics and ROI are also provided below. The second step is adding your property description. Here, you can enter your title, upload photos, and enter your description. Step 3 allows you to invite vendors and your core team members. You can also go to My Team in the upper menu bar to manage them anytime, as well as assign them to specific properties if you like. The next step is Property X-Ray. Here you'll break down the rehab budget into each area of the property. Add before repair pictures now and after repair pictures anytime. Next is Doc Vault. This is where you'll add documents related to the deal, appraisals, plot map, marketing, comps, and other key information. After you're done creating the deal, save it for now. Edit anytime before release by going to My Listings under My Deals. Click on Manage Deal. Simply click on the pen icon to edit. Reviewing and accepting investments by the crowd is easy. Click on My Listings and then click on Investments Received. Here you'll be able to review each investor's proof of residency. Prior investors in your deals are indicated with the title Prior Investor. When you've confirmed each investor's residency, you can click on Verified and Accepted to accept their investments. You can manage your team by clicking on View All under My Team.
Eddie, yeah, Eddie, we're not seeing the video. We're hearing it, but we're not seeing it.
Oh, I wish I would have knew that.
I've been texting you and I called you.
Oh, I had to move. Okay, so you didn't see the video. So that's
Maybe try the next one.
I can see the video fine. So let me see new share. Let me try the desktop.
Okay.
Share. And are you able to see the video now?
Yes.
So I'll play this again for everyone because it's pretty important.
Welcome to BlockBuyer. BlockBuyer allows you to legally raise capital from non-accredited investors for your residential projects. Making a deal posting is easy. You can post single and batch uploads of your deals. To post a single deal, go to Post a Deal, Post Single, fill out your contract type and other details below. When you're finished entering your values, the bottom of the page will automatically calculate your deal analysis and display a summary of your crowd payments as well as the profit as an operator. Detailed metrics and ROI are also provided below. The second step is adding your property description. Here, you can enter your title, upload photos, and enter your description. Step 3 allows you to invite vendors and your core team members. You can also go to My Team, upper menu bar to manage them anytime, as well as assign them to specific properties if you like. Next step is Property X-Ray. Here you'll break down the rehab budget for each area of the property. Add before repair pictures now and after repair pictures anytime. Next is Doc Vault. This is where you'll add documents related to the deal, such as appraisals, plot map, marketing comps, and other key information. After you're done creating the deal, save it for now. Edit anytime before release by going to My Listings under My Deals. Click on Manage Deal. Simply click on the pin icon to edit. Reviewing and accepting investments by the crowd is easy. Click on My Listings and then click on Investments Received. Here you'll be able to review each investor's proof of residency. Prior investors in your deals are indicated with the title Prior Investor. When you've confirmed each investor's residency, you can click on Verified and Accepted to accept their investment. You can manage your team and view all under My Team.
So, how many people are would like to at least see briefly what the operator?
Yeah, they can't answer. Why don't you lead?
Yeah. So I'm going to show an operator video that it's about 2 minutes that shows kind of back-end scenes of how the operator world works. And this is just important so you as an investor kind of know what the operator is doing and how their system is working to mitigate risk. Let me move this.
BlockBuyer allows you to
Yeah, let me change the video, I guess. Well, it is. All right, we're going to play it here. Yep, there it is. Some of the things I can't see because of the images of everyone on the screen. Here we go.
Welcome to BlockBuyer. BlockBuyer allows you to legally raise capital from non-accredited investors for your residential projects. Making a deal posting is easy. You can post single and batch uploads of your deals. To post a single deal, go to Post a Deal, Post Single, fill out your contract type and other details below. When you're finished entering your values, the bottom of the page will automatically calculate your deal analysis and display a summary of your crowd payments as well as the profit as an operator. Detailed metrics and ROI are also provided below. The second step is adding your property description. Here, you can enter your title, upload photos, and enter your description. Step 3 allows you to invite vendors and your core team members. You can also go to My Team in the upper menu bar to manage them anytime, as well as assign them to specific properties if you like. The next step is Property X-Ray. Here you'll break down the rehab budget into each area of the property. Add before repair pictures now and after repair pictures anytime. Next is DocQual. This is where you'll add documents related to the deal, such as appraisals, plot map, marketing comps, and other key information. After you're done creating the deal, save it for now. Edit anytime before release by going to My Listings under My Deals. Click on Manage Deal. Simply click on the pin icon to edit. Reviewing and accepting investments by the crowd is easy. Click on My Listings and then click on Investments Received. Here you'll be able to review each investor's proof of residency. Prior investors in your deals are indicated with the title Prior Investor. When you've confirmed each investor's residency, you can click on Verified and Accepted to accept their investments. You can manage your team by clicking on View All under My Team.
All right. We do have other sections as well. There has been a few agents from Deluxe agency that have been interested. We do have an agent video, and it's only a couple minutes. So if you contact us directly, we can actually show you the agent broker tour, and it allows you to earn commissions and raise money and earn commissions legally. And you can do this remotely from your house without ever needing to actually show properties or be exposed to the elements out in the industry.
So why don't, if you're an agent, why don't you put in the chat box, yes, or I'm an agent, so we know if you're out there. And if you're interested, if you're not interested, then you don't have to do anything.
Yes, that'd be great, because we can, and you can email us as well if you're interested, if your brokerage is interested, because it offers an additional solution for agents to be involved, to be able to promote to their customers, because typically out of their entire agent Rolodex, only 1% of their people are buying and selling a property at any one time. And what this does is this turns their Rolodex of 100% of their contacts available to invest, and you can earn commission off them instead of just the 1%. So it actually could be an entirely new business model for agents and brokers. Now we're going to turn the site over to Torsten, who is one of our trusted expert operators on the project. And I'm going to be driving the, would I be able to drive the, yeah, I'll drive the, and he'll be able to talk you through the project. So one moment while I change the page here.
And why Eddie's updating the page, first off, I want to thank everyone that has taken some time out of their day to jump on. And most importantly, thank you for, being patient with us. This was a live, event, that maybe some of these little mishaps of showing videos twice wouldn't have happened, but we're all learning. And what's is really cool it's just a proofs in the fact that BlockBuyer and everyone on here will do whatever it takes to be successful, do whatever it takes to bring you the best information. So thank you very much for being patient. Thank you, Stuart, for putting this on, and Robert. It's truly appreciated. A little bit about my background before we go into the deal, and we can sit down on a one-on-one basis and talk about it more, but it's a quick overview. I've been in the real estate business for probably, I've been saying 15 years, but I think I've been saying that for a few years now. It's like 16 or 17 years now. I've successfully been involved in 7,500 transactions, and that goes from wholesaling deals to fix and flipping houses. During the crash of the market about 10 years ago, I was at the trustee sale, and I was buying 5 houses a day and selling 5 houses a day, and doing that 5 days a week. So I did over 1,000 deals a year just on quick turns. And I was able to do more than anybody else down at the trustee sale because I learned to delegate and work with others, work with real estate agents, work with other investors, work with team members that help me. And Eddie talked about that earlier. That's what turned me on to BlockBuyers, is this allows me to work with a lot more and accomplish a lot more. Our days at the trustee sale, people would come to us and say, look, you guys are making a ton of money here. We want to be a part of it. How much money can we put up? And we would always say, hold on real quick. We're not set up that way. It's my partner, Frank, and I, and we're just 2 guys that are just doing deals, and we can't take on any investment funds. And so it was super cool when, Eddie approached and said, hey, check out this amazing platform. I'm like, holy smokes, this is what we needed many years ago. So we could have actually probably done 2,000 deals instead of 1,000 deals a year. But it wasn't available. So this is really cool. It's another form of delegation. It's another form of allowing others to be involved in our deals and make profits alongside with us, and even potentially bounce ideas off of, because I don't have all the answers. But what I do is I go to experts. So I'm going to go into that in a minute. But before I was in real estate, I was a Phoenix police officer. I did that for a few years, and I found out there was better ways, safer ways to make money and make a lot more of it and make a bigger impact in the community. And I had a supplement company for a little while, a store, and then I got into the mortgage business, and then I rolled into the real estate business. And even prior to that, I was in the military. I started off as an enlisted person in the military, moved my way up to an officer, and after 13 years, I left the military because I wanted to be a good father. I have 2 children. I have a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. But my last duty station was up with the 19th Special Forces out of Utah, and I really learned the delegation process. I learned that you can't do things just as an individual. You've got to really reach out. And so this is me not just being Torsten and just fixing and flipping houses. This is me reaching out to you guys and saying, let's come come make money with me. Let's work on this together. And that's what we have to do in good times and bad times, and come together as a community. So in uncertain times that might be coming forth, let's come together in the community, and let's figure out what the best way to do to support each other and continue to make money for our family. In my time of the 16, 17 years now, I don't like to look back because it makes me feel old. I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fix and flips, and then a lot of properties that I've just turned quickly without really even doing any profit. Not any, I'm making profit, but not doing any rehab to it to make profit. So it allows me to analyze deals in many different ways. It allows me to find many exit strategies on deals. Over the time, I've owned rental properties, not just one or two, but all the way up to close to almost 50 rental properties. So we understand if there's a property that we need to turn into rental, know how to do that. If there's a property we need to sell as is, we know how to do that. We have that ability. And over this past, 17 years, I've also become a great marketer. I have a full-time team that markets for us to get the best and the best deal. We're out there contacting homeowners constantly and spending a lot of money so that we can get amazing deals. And right now we're looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 deals a day to try to pick the best one. And currently right now we have 2. So I think that brings us to what Eddie wanted me to present is one of the deals. Are you ready, Eddie, with the video, or do you want me to just go into it?
Yes, I was going to show maybe like a 1-minute overview of a demo on the site, and this will give you a flavor for what Torsten is doing as a project. And then I'll hand it to Torsten and have him show you actually some real projects right now. And one note, as I wanted to note, is that this is actually very appropriate for this industry, because right now a pandemic is actually allowing people to actually spend more time working, obviously at home and remotely. And remote investing is really where the next leg of the industry will actually be taking place. So we've actually noticed more of a growth interest, and there's going to be different sectors in the market because of a pandemic, because of this issue, that companies will grow and others will decline. And we actually are kind of excited about this. Chaos creates opportunities. And so this could actually relay opportunities to you as investors as well. This is an example of the site. This is our demo version. And I'm just going to click one deal here to show you kind of an example of what can be expected to see. So you'll see different projects that would be posted. This is a purchased by a bank-owned property as is, with furniture in there in some cases. Some cases it's done well, some not. On the right, you'll see your contract terms. You'll see your operator profile and your contract terms. You'll see what the project estimates are. It's important to know that property X-ray is what we call X-raying the property to know what the rehab budget would be. And the rehab budget is $46,000 in this case. The anticipated sale price would be $410,000, and the profit for this project is $134,000. Here's specifics on the property, descriptions, map, and the doc vault. What we call the doc vault is your documents and disclosures. So this could be map information. It could be what's happening in the marketplace, market information. Maybe the malls being brought into the area, which is going to increase. Maybe it's rental rates in the area. This is our property X-ray, which was that $46,000 you'll see right here, of how the budget is broken down. So before you invest in a project, you can actually see the budget of how the budget is being broken apart. And here there'll typically be pictures of the project. So there'll be before pictures here, and then after you invest, you'll also see after pictures as well. And then there's videos on the project down here. This is kind of part of the backyard, for example, and you can see those. There's maybe one more. This was This was a one that actually was in Phoenix, actually. So this was, and I'm not sure if we have a before or after picture here, but the kitchen, no, this is not, because you have to actually, so we have before and after pictures, but this is what you would see before you invest, as an example. Once you do invest, there will be videos here of during your project, updates during your project, maybe showing the kitchen, showing the bathroom, showing mid stages of remodeling. And also, Torsten will be able to give you video tours of the property himself. So right now we're going to switch over to the actual projects of the site, and we'll go and let Torsten talk about the project himself. And I'll mute myself and go ahead, Torsten, take over.
So currently, right now, we have two projects on BlockBuyer that we're hoping that you guys want to get involved in, and whatnot. And so the first project that I've got is a fix and flip. It's a fix and flip project that I own in Scottsdale, but already started the work on it, and wanted you guys to bring you in and continue to finish it and see some huge success. It's a property that a little back end story on it. I negotiated this project for, I think I negotiated on it almost 3 months to get down to the right price. We purchased the property. We're into it about for $450,000. The back end number of that project, it's in McCormick Ranch. It's in Scottsdale. It's a hot area. The back end number is almost up to $675,000 to $700,000 on it. We've already spent about $30,000 on it. What we did, we had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath property, and we've made it into a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, which makes it way, way more valuable. And we've, through our marketing efforts, we've sent this property out to a handful of agents that work in the area, and we're prepared to send it out to all the agents in the Valley that are currently looking for potential deals. And every agent that has walked through this property loves the floor plan, but more importantly, the price point. We're at, we'll probably be at $675,000 to $700,000, and we're in that area. The quality that we're doing to this property, it's a great value. 2,000 square foot property over in Scottsdale. I've got a great team of rehab guys that have worked for me for many, many years. They've learned that I pay on time. I pay them immediately, and so they're giving us the best prices. So we're going to be able to get this project done for just an amazing deal. So that's one on San Candido, the 8524. Eddie just pulled that property up. So super excited that. One thing is, you know what, if you, I know there's a lot of, we got videos and we got pictures there, but if you want to meet me at the property, you want to access the property, we'll go over there. If you want to stay right at home, we'll get on a FaceTime, and I'll show you around the property and show you all the cool things that we're doing. The other thing too is my contractors are completely transparent. If you want to talk to them about the kind of work that we've done in the past, the kind of work we're doing here, they're 100% open to that. And talking about communication, there's 2 ways of getting a hold of us. You can get a hold of us through the website and through the messenger side of things, or if I'm not looking at the website and you want to hit me on my cell phone, write this number down. It's 602-403-7300 is the fastest way for you to get to me. And if I can just, as we're doing this, let me just put this in the chat box.
Yeah, let's put that in the chat box. 602-403-7200.
7300.
Thank you.
And you can text me or call me anytime. And would love to sit down and chit chat or talk on the phone. I have to remember we're not supposed to sit down right now and chit chat, but we can talk on the phone. Soon, when this is all over, we'll we'll be chit-chatting. So that's that project. We can go into more depth if people have questions posted in the chat. We can do that. The second project that we're raising money for is the quick turn, the wholesale deals. With what's going on right now, and Stuart can tell you, as he mentors students and he's seen it firsthand. There's weeds out there, and we're on the front lines of getting great deals. And some of these deals we can turn immediately for a quick profit. If it means that we buy it, maybe clean it up just a hair, get the trash out, and then turn around and sell it to another investor that wants to invest. Or if that's someone like yourself, if you want to buy a fix and flip, you can do that. I also have some amazing lenders out there, like Mark, who I know is on the call, that will help with the lending and help you buy these properties. Or the other thing that we can do is we can clean it up a hair, maybe paint the outside, turn a purple house into a neutral color house. I've got a great story on that. And we can put that on the MLS and sell that to a retail buyer at a discount. Currently, right now in the real estate market, if no one knows, we're still in a hot market. We have 10,500 homes active in Maricopa County. In March, we sold 6,500 homes. That means we only have about a month and a half supply of properties. The houses that are selling super quick are ones that are priced right. So if you can imagine, if I took a property that I put onto the MLS that's cleaned up for $125,000, that's worth $150 or $175, that property is going to sell quick, which then in turn allows us to go out and pay our investors a great return because it's quick. We're going to roll the money as quick as possible. Just as there are days when it was hot at the trustee sale, that's what we did. We rolled the money. We would wholesale properties for sometimes anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 or $3,000 in profit, but we did that every day. And so that allows us to be able to give great returns to our investors. And we can definitely sit down and talk about like what we're doing and what I look at for properties. But the bottom line is the one word answer is, what do I look in a property? I look for profit. How can we make profit on this? And the other thing too is what's really cool about what I do compared to maybe some other guys that are out there in this business is, if I find a property that we're going to sell quickly and it doesn't sell, we're not in a bad spot. We're actually in a real good spot because guess what? I'm a fix and flipper myself. I will take that project on. I will then bring in new funds to pay off the quick turn wholesale funds so that the investors get their return, and then we're moving on as a fix and flip. Or worst case scenario, we don't do that. We turn around and we keep that as a rental property, hold on, cash flow that, and wait for the market to return. To be honest with you, most of my rentals were, I call them inherited. They were properties that we did a great fix and flip on, but it just wasn't the right timing for the market. So we put renters in there. So those are one of the criteria that we look at when we look at a wholesale deal. What can we do? Is it a good rental? Yeah, it's a great rental because it's below market value. Or is it a great fix and flip? And it's a great fix and flip because we can, because we're buying it below market value. So that's the two funds. I know it was kind of quick, but I also appreciate your guys' time and don't want to we could talk 16 hours straight about this. I know Stuart, myself, and Eddie can talk about this because we love what we're doing out there. So
thank you very much, Torsten. He gave us really good insight. One distinction that, to just summary, the first project is the fix and flip that Torsten is operating. So in this case, you as an investor would actually be in this specific project, owning a percentage of ownership in the project itself, in the house as an asset. And then once the property sells, you then would receive a 12% preferred return on the money that you invested. and he anticipates the project will be 6 months. And this is 6 months from the time that it starts to the time that it's sold. So it may only be a 4-month project of rehab, and then it may be a month of promotion and then closing. So this is where you're investing in the project itself. The second offering, the tourist offering, is to be to have a bit of a higher return, where he can actually have commitment for funds, then use those funds to buy a great deal, hold the deal for a week to 2 weeks and as a wholesale, and sell it for a profit. And then your money would then be your profit, your principal and profit would be calculated automatically when you invest, and when the property is ongoing in that fund. So you could actually invest in the fund. Torsten can go buy one property, sell it, buy another property, sell it, buy a third property, sell it, and you're receiving 24% on your money. At any time, you could decide to say, exit this fund. And so from the moment that you invest to the moment that you exit, your calculated return would be for that period of time, regardless of the number of houses that Torsten bought and sold in the middle. Did I explain that correctly, Torsten?
Correct. And so just to make it clear, is it's a 24%, annually. So if for instance, you invested $100,000, which is, I'm just using this as easy numbers, you would get $2,000 in return. You invested $50,000, you would get $1,000 in return, right? 25 would get you 500. So if you can figure out those math, it's times 2% a month is what you would get. It's 24% annually, and we're able to give those kind of returns. So if we raise $200,000, it's going to cost us $4,000 a month to have that money out there buying properties, but we're going to hopefully roll that 2 or 3 times, and we're going to make greater returns on that. Even one time, we're going to at least make $5,000 to $10,000 on a wholesale transaction.
And in a fortunate but unfortunate circumstance, this pandemic is actually going to cause a lot of people to not be able to make payments on mortgages and rents, and thus there's going to be more properties being sold at lower values. And we're expecting in 6 months to be able to have kind of a large amount of properties at a much discounted rate brought onto the marketplace. So in a way, this solution is actually created an opportunity for investors to invest in residential projects that normally they would never have had access to, with the market being so fierce and strong, and being prevented from actually even getting in a deal. Torsten has now had more of a flow of projects coming his way at lower prices with greater profit. So this is only going to continue for the duration of the year 2020 and 2021.
And then on the exit strategy too is, remember, I've been in this business for almost 17 years. I've been through the ups and downs, and my investors that buy my wholesale properties were buying from me in the darkest real estate market. When we bought properties for $12,500, they were turning around and buying those properties for me for $15,000. And then when it got up to $40,000, they were buying those properties for $45,000, and so on. They've always bought from me no matter where it is, because they've known that they can get the best deals. Some of the guys that have made the best fix and flip investments have bought from me in the toughest times, because they know that we're sitting there, we're putting all our efforts in to get the very best deals for them. So we've got great buyers for exit strategies. So if you're ever worried about how we're going to exit out of this property, we've got multiple strategies. We're not jumping in this new. We've been in this for a long time.
And a key point is that when investing, the period of hold time is going to be much shorter than a traditional investment. So from the time that it's purchased and rehabbed and sold, he's going to be competing against other people trying to sell their properties that have not been upgraded, that have not, that they don't have funds available to do the rehab, to paint, to fix things. So when people come on the market to buy, most likely they'll always want to buy a property that's a little bit higher price from Torsten, as opposed to buying one that's not up and rehabbed in an area. There's always going to be a margin of interest in projects that are rehab in comparison to projects that people are desperately trying to sell at a market that's in decline.
Okay.
So do we have any questions that we can address to
Okay. So want to be respectful of people's time. I appreciate everybody. I got a couple of questions, and a couple of people had to drop off. We had quite a big crowd, and I'll open. And hopefully, you found your chat box and you know how to type in a question. First question I'm going to pull up is: do you know? And this is from Jay. Does a broker have to? Does his broker, if he's a realtor, have to approve something that an agent was going to promote? Ed? Eddie, are you there? Torsten, are you there?
I'm here. So I don't know.
That's Eddie. Okay, go ahead. Please go ahead.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I was on mute. A solution where brokers are able to subscribe to BlockBuyer, and once they approve their account, they can link out to all of the agents, and all of their agents are automatically approved, nested underneath them, and kind of attract friends. Commissions would be paid normally to the broker, and then splits occur internally just as normal. And then the second way is the agent can actually stop and actually send a request to their broker to say, hey, we want to be involved in BlockBuyer. Would you approve the brokerage so that we can earn commission?
Very good. I have another question from Jay. With foreclosures coming from the COVID-19 virus, how do you see this benefiting?
What was the first few?
Sure. With foreclosures, with the anticipated foreclosures coming up with the COVID-19 virus, how do you see this platform benefiting?
Well, Jay is one of the really smart people I've met in the Phoenix area, Tucson, if I'm not mistaken. We've talked at great lengths before. This is just like when I was involved in Bid Day in 2008. We were doing up to 650 houses of selling per weekend. So we would have like a Bank of America come in with inventory, and we would sell from starting on a Friday morning around 8 o'clock to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to Sunday at 5 p.m. We'd sell up to 50 properties on our system. And that's single resident houses and people. So with the crowdfunding, I expect that the government will not be able to assist us in the ways that they're hoping. They may actually allow some people to have a few months of not paying their mortgage, like they have in some other countries, that cannot go on very long. They would bankrupt the government. And what we expect that there's going to be some, programs available to give money to people, but it's not be anywhere near them to bail out of the residential market. So we anticipate 5 months from now to start having a large glut of properties coming on the market. And at that point, we're also going to be offering fix and rent programs. So we'll be able to have Torsten take a project that investors would be invested in and then fix it and rent it out and then earn income from those projects. There will also be projects with fix and there's going to be great opportunities. I've had deep Fannie Mae and Bank of America for years. So I do anticipate, receiving portfolios from them directly. And then once those portfolios come in, we add different operators to take on as projects, rehab, and so the crowd would actually be getting inside access almost directly to Fannie Mae's properties at large discounts. This is what I 2006 or 7. So I'm very familiar with the landscape. I was in meetings with the directors at Fannie Mae, and I knew what their portfolios were like. And I've had some discussions with Bank of America in the former couple weeks, and the pulse is that they're not going to be able to help individuals at all with their mortgages, like sometimes they've done back in the RTC days. So RTC days, if you recall, probably Jay recalls this time back in the mid 80s. So I anticipate a similar, where there's going to be a large amount of properties, and the wealth is going to shift from a class that's not able to actually afford, people who are able to afford property. And I think there's going to be more property that are going to go in rental state, and the home ownership will decline dramatically and rentals will go up.
And I think the biggest thing is we need to be ready now, because if there is an opportunity where the floodgates open up, we better be ready to rock and roll, quicker than send the institutional funds. Institutional funds have backed out of the real estate market. They still own it, but they're not putting new money in. So if there is a floodgate, which hopefully there isn't, but if there is, then we need to have our money ready, and we need to start buying and keep moving. Same way that we did when Lehman Brothers crashed and we were buying properties for $12,500. Bought 2 of them in one day, that cheap back in the day. And then we were buying out average properties around like $40,000. If it doesn't happen, there's still opportunities. So we need to keep moving forward and can't just sit back and do nothing, because if we sit back and do nothing, and when there is an opportunity, it's going to be this jerk effect and not moving, not being able to move fluidly and quick and forward. What do you think, Stuart? I mean, you've been
Thank you. Well, clearly, FHA has delayed some of the foreclosures. We're seeing some mortgage forgiveness with the SBA for the interest loans. So we certainly are in interesting times. But I think all of us who are on the call I'm going to make an assumption, have done real estate, enjoy real estate, know a little bit about real estate. And I think we'll all agree that there's always deals, right? There's always deals. Even in a thriving economy, someone found out they had to sell their house and move back to help a loved one, or there's a divorce, or they're in transition going into assisted living or probate. There's always deals. So to have this type of platform and to be able to fund what Torsten's doing on the wholesale side, I think is an awesome opportunity, because he is on the front lines, as many of us. I'm on the front lines. Eddie's on the front. Some of us aren't. Some of us are working in a job or working from home or in transition or stressing. So to be able to diversify your income, diversify your portfolio with as little as $500 by investing in one of Torsten's flips or his wholesale fund is, I think, a great opportunity. And as we're winding it down, one of the things that I love most about this platform, and I trust you'll all have had this experience. If you've ever done a flip before, or if you've ever done any business deal before, you know that nothing ever goes according to plan, right? And you wouldn't know this unless you had a plan. Okay, so since nothing ever goes according to plan, and you wouldn't know unless you have a plan, when I do a flip, I pay myself first. I pay my Home Depot bill first, and then whatever's left over, I tell the investor, you know what? I'm sorry, this deal didn't go as according to plan. I thought I was going to be able to give you X number of dollars, and now it's going to be Y number of dollars. And the investor doesn't like that, but that's how it goes. In this platform, the investors get paid back first. So those guys get their money first before I have a chance to say, uh-oh, it didn't go as well. I made sure my bills are paid. You're the one holding the shorter stick. So Eddie talks about there's 1,068 ways to get screwed by real estate. I haven't seen the list. I can't imagine that many, but he's a brilliant man, so I bet that there is. And he's done everything he can to try to protect himself. And in this, I've gone over an hour, so I sincerely apologize, and we'll wind it down. But we'll do something like this again, maybe a more advanced webinar, more hands-on webinar, let's say. But certainly, it's hard to stop somebody from stealing. If somebody wants to steal, you can't legislate against a Bernie Madoff, all the laws in the world, right? So he's done everything he can to put in protections. But again, another thing I love is that he launched it in Arizona. Torsten's in Arizona. I'm in Arizona. except Marcia, who's in Ohio, are in Arizona. These are tangible things. We can drive by the property. The operator has to put pictures up of what he did before or after, or you can flag the property and it shuts down and the operator doesn't get his money or her money. So this is really a great opportunity. If you don't have the time, the knowledge, the desire, the wherewithal to get involved in real estate, or you want to create another stream of income, I just think this is and that's why I'm hosting this. I personally think it's a tremendous platform. Torsten's an honest guy, man with integrity. I had no idea he was a police officer, so I got to give him some grief about that at some point. But you're dealing with high quality people, and you're dealing with an asset that you can see. And at the end of the day, and I put this in all my emails, you decide whether it's a good investment or not. I'm not here to twist your arm. I'm not going to call you. Torsten's not going to call you. Someone's called me right now. I'll send them a voicemail. I'm not going to call you. Eddie's not going to call you. No one's going to call you. It's up to you to reach out and make sure this is a good deal for you. So Eddie, any final thoughts, Eddie, you want to give us?
There's a quick question,
Okay,
Jeff.
go ahead.
Jeff had a question about the IRA. I've actually, back in the day, did a lot of speaking with some self-directed IRA guys.
Yes.
So from my understanding, and I would direct you back to one of them, but it's a good spot for you to use your self-directed IRA, because you can't use your self-directed IRA to invest in your own projects.
Yes.
You can invest in mine. I can use my self-directed IRA to invest in yours. So this is a safe platform to do that. But here's the thing is where if without this platform, if you go and invest your self-directed IRA into someone that is not approved to raise money, the IRS could come back and flag this and say you owe taxes, or you could get completely your money wiped out. But by going through BlockBuyer, the IRS is going to go, hey, look, you invested into someone else's deal. It's clear. Look, the IRS is going to scrutinize self-directed IRAs because they know what people are doing is they're taking those self-directed IRA and trying to funnel that money back into their own pocket tax-free. But this way, hey, look, it's all above board. The IRS will go, hey, this is amazing. You put it into someone else's deal, and here's the proof from BlockBuyer. This is how much money you got back, and you put that money back into your self-directed IRA. Now you're not having any problems.
Thank you for catching that. And if anybody has any self-directed IRA, we work with Daniel Blue out of Quest. Great guy. Happy to put you in contact with him. There was one more question too, and I'll turn it back to you, Eddie. We've recorded this. You can probably see that on your screen in the top left-hand corner. It says recording. And someone asked, I think it was Melanie, hey, will you send out this recording? Sure. Happy to do it. And if you can't get enough of it, you can listen to it again and again and again. I'm happy to do that for you. That's why we recorded it. Thank you, Torsten. Eddie, any final thoughts?
As a summary, we created BlockBuyer, and we're as a genie in a bottle, and we're releasing this genie out of a bottle. We're not a company that's owning and controlling it. We created a site, a marketplace, and we're releasing it. So it's really up to the crowd to embrace it and use it, because it's really your benefit and your solution. So on one side, we have the operators. The more that they embrace it, the more crowd will benefit from it. The more people that refer their friends and family to the site, then the more the site grows. So we're going to offer an opportunity to all those who are even the few who dropped off. We're going to use the promote a vote feature, and that's in the site. You can actually promote, promote this to a friend or family. If you promote to 10 people, we're going to waive all of these as an investor for the first 6 months. So you don't have to pay anything to invest in a deal. And so promote a vote feature, if you log in, there's a video on how to promote a vote. Very, very simple. It's in the Learning Center. And to sign up for the site, I'm going to share go to the top right and sign up and answer a few questions. We're going to email link sent to your email account, and you'll be approved. And just you can scan information now. You won't need your account or any information. All you need is your email address and your name and password. So that's what we're offering. And as a way to get momentum up, We're trying to make it very beneficial for investors and as well as benefit the operators. That's our goal. So thank you very much for attending.
Great. And Avery, thank you for attending. You'll see in the chat box, I put everyone's phone number. There's Eddie Borio's phone number. There's Torsten's phone number. There's my phone number. So you'll always hear me say, whenever I finish a presentation, class doesn't end when the bell rings. There's still more learning to be done. So please feel free to reach out to us. Happy to be of service. Torsten, thank you for your time and putting your deals up there and exposing them. That takes guts to do. I appreciate that. Eddie, thanks. I think the world of you. I appreciate you. Everybody who attended, I appreciate you. I'll send the link out to watch this again if you want to. And other than that, stay safe. I look forward to getting together again, right? We're social distancing. Be safe. Love you. And we'll say bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye
for
for now.
attending.